we are starting our session, Art of Managing Relationships. I'll give you a background first why I chose this topic. It is something very much relevant and practical in every individual's life, no matter what level you are, what situation you are in, what circumstances you live within your own surroundings. So relationship is one of the very critical aspect of every individual's life. So when we say relationship, relationship is a very wider term. We maintain relationship with our superiors. We maintain relationship with our friends. We maintain relationship with our juniors, or you may say subordinates, or for example, for our kids. So these are the different level of relationship that we maintain within our journey of life. And as I have mostly seen, if you have good people around you in your life, then everything is good in life, in the sense that if you are surrounded with good people, if you have good relationships in your surroundings, you live a happy and a peaceful life. And if you are not having a good relationships around you in terms of people, then majority of the time we keep on cribbing ourselves, because many of us are not in a position to uh, really get out from the relationship. So we are kind of bounded in a certain relationship that we are into. And uh, for many of us, no matter whether we have too many luxuries in life or not, or we may have too many possessions in life or not, but if we have good people around us, within our families or within our circle of friends or people who really cares for us, then it becomes one of the key parameter of deciding a success in life for an individual. This is how I take it. So success, for many people, have a different understanding of success, which we'll be talking in our fourth session on Sunday. So success means different things to different people. So every individual has a different perspective of how they really define success. Right now, the next part is the entire world is suffering from relationship issues. Uh, so, like we see, a lot of people keep on, being disturbed within themselves because somebody might have told them something at some stage of life, and then then they keep it within themselves, because people are not so open-ended in today's society. People keep a distance with the people, and when people keep a distance, then people have different set of they form different set of opinions, they form different set of thought process about specific individuals, which ultimately results into a problem in the long run. And the person who has actually created a problem in an indirect way in the life of a person, that person is not really in the picture. He is not really getting impacted. But since we have created that pool of issues within ourselves, within our own life, because of that, we keep on simply cribbing within ourselves. And we even don't disclose it to any third person to whom we can actually rely, to whom we can really trust. So it is difficult for a person to find a person who can actually really help, or even if the person may not be in a position to help, or person can actually heal that person. So the world is suffering from relationship issues, and realizing it in itself is the biggest thing. But one fortunate thing, for most of us, as we all are living in India, I was just doing a like sample check. So India is a country, fortunately, India has a lesser divorce rates in comparison to all other countries, most of the countries of the world. So we are fortunate enough that we have lesser divorce rates in India. So I think it is 1% or somewhere 1 to 2%. It's pretty lower than other parts of the world. And why is it so? Because India carries in itself a rich traditional cultural values which are being inculcated from the beginning of the life, and we carry those things with us. And from a social perspective also, or from a personal level also, we do respect relationships, we do give value to the relationships. But yes, when you look at the word, then things are different. And the topic that picking up today is on managing relationships. So if you look at this, the last last point of today's discussion, which is the main aspect, is secret perspective of on how to manage relationships better. Okay, so let me quickly start with a story. Um it's an interesting story which can give us a very interesting lesson about life, and everyone may at in some way or other can apply this same in their relationships that they really come across in their lives. So there was a girl in China. In the traditional Chinese culture, that girl got married, and after marrying, she was living with her husband and her mother-in-law together. So they were living together, and she had to abide by all the instructions or whatever this mother-in-law of her mother-in-law used to tell her. She had to follow her, and she was following her, but somehow it was not really going well. And over a period of time, she was tolerating, but ultimately she thought, now there's a limit, I cannot tolerate it further. So then she visited her father, and there she met a friend of her father who was basically some who was making some herbal medicines. So she explained the entire situation to that father's friend, that I want to get rid of it, and please give me some herbs, some poisonous herbs, so that I can I can kill her and just get it through in once for all. So he thinks for a moment, and then he tells her, okay, wait for a minute. Then he goes inside and he brings some herbs, and he tells, now you listen to me carefully, and whatever I tell you, you please follow it. So he tells her, okay, now these herbs, you have to give it to her on regular basis. It is a kind of poison which is going to impact, but it will not impact immediately. Because if I'll give you anything which will impact immediately, then you will be under suspicion that you have created this conspiracy and you have murdered her. So I'm giving you some herbs, you have to give these herbs on a regular basis, but there's a condition. While you're giving these herbs, you have to mix these herbs in, like when you're offering her tea or a meal, you have to mix it properly and then give. So you have to continue this momentum for a period of 6 months, and ensure when you are doing this activity, that time these herbs, you have to be very submissive, you have to be polite in dealings with her, you have to tolerate and obey to what she tells, so that during this period nobody gets any hint that you were giving her some poison in this cycle of 6 months. So she was very happy. She followed the advice of her father's friend. She went back to her home, her husband's home. Then she started giving this herbs along with different meals, whatever she was offering, and she was behaving very nicely with that mother-in-law. She was trying to tolerate her. She was controlling her anger during the period of 6 months. Then eventually, what happened? She started developing love for her mother-in-law because she was serving her nicely, and she eventually started realizing, okay, I think I'm doing a big mistake. Then immediately she ran back to that friend of her father, and she tells her, please suggest something. I don't want her to die because of that poison. Please advise me something by which I can save her life. So then he tells, don't worry, there is no poison. You don't have to be of fear of anything. She's not going to die from anything, because what I had given what I had given you, it was simply some vitamins. So there was no poison in it. So the lesson that we get from this story is that her submissiveness, her attitude of service brought a change in the entire situation in itself. When she wanted her to be killed 6 months before, and in the next course of 6 months, when she was serving her submissively, everything changed. So the lesson is that if we develop, in spite of the fact that the person who is there in front of us is of all bad qualities, but if we try to serve that person with a submissive attitude, then over a period of time, all the problems of any damn relationship in this world can go away. So we definitely need to bring a change within ourselves. So one interesting lesson that we can get from this is we cannot change the world, but we can change ourselves. And if we work on changing ourselves, then eventually we will observe that people also start changing to the situations or circumstances. So whenever you come across any relationship in your life who is really creating a big disturbance and you cannot get rid of that relationship, it is a part of your life, then my suggestion is try to be submissive in your service to that person, and eventually with the passage of time things will start falling in place. For that we need to develop some good qualities at our level as an individual. We need to change our own temperament, we need to change our own behavior, we need to change our own basic nature. Now sometimes people say basic nature cannot be changed, sometimes people say yes, to some extent we can make some modifications around it. Now let us do some more discussions on this topic, how we can understand it in better way, how we can apply it in our day-to-day life, so that we can deal with people nicely and we can live a healthy life full of nice people around us. And we can actually there is a saying, we can okay, I'll tell you later. Okay, so relationship, just one example. Relationship is made of two words. You can say relation and ship. So if you break relationship in two parts, so then they are like relation and then ship. So ship means a ship. Everyone is having a life, and we all are riding the ship of our life. And within that ship of our life, we come across different relations. So till the time the ship is going smooth, when the passage is smooth, when the winds are not really creating any kind of turmoil, winds are smooth, everything is going in a very smooth manner, then the outcome is that easily ship can cross a great ocean or sea. But now, as soon as if some stormy wind starts coming in, or some other external disturbances, or some internal disturbances that ship might have to go through, then because of those disturbances, uh, then the ship cannot continue the momentum the way it really intended to. So we can take example of Titanic, how Titanic just collapsed and everything got finished. So similarly, relationship are dependent on two factors. One is the internal factor. Internal factor means if there are two people, they are living together. So how they are living together internally, how they are sorting out their internal issues within themselves. And then second is uh, we get to hear a lot from other people about a specific person. When we get to hear, okay, this person tells about this person, this, and then it carries a certain it carries some impression within our mind for that individual. Okay, this person is like this. We start forming opinions about that person. So when you are too much dependent on listening to what others says about a specific person, then it is not it is not considered good, then it is not a healthy sign of that specific relationship. That means you are becoming slave, or you are becoming dependent on what other person is talking about that specific individual. So in that situation also, we need to be very careful when we are trying to form opinions based on what other people say about a person. So like I have taken the example of a ship. The relation is dependent on two aspects. One is the external aspect, the other people who are kind of putting different thoughts in your mind about a specific person or a specific individual or a specific relation that you are into. And then second is that you are forming opinion by your own, based on your own assumptions, based on your own mind thought processes. You think, okay, this is what I think about it, this is what I think about it. So this is, and that actually uh, it really becomes a pool, and then pool turns into a burst. And it may happen that we might not even discuss with that person, these are the problems that I have with you, and we simply carry on with whatever assumptions that we have made within our own mind. So we need to sit and we need to sort out those issues, whatever relationships that we are into within this world. We have different set of relationships. We may have friends, we may have relatives, we may have our own family people. We need to sit with them, we need to talk to them, we need to have understanding on what their expectations are. So these are some material aspects of how to handle relationships within this world. Now there are some spiritual dimensions of how we can make relationships effective, more stronger, more powerful, without any sort of bad feelings. So let us see what all are there from our Vedic text, from the Vedic angle, what we can learn. So one is, you can see this. This is a very interesting. Like I liked it very much. Learn to get out from self-centered consciousness. So self-centered consciousness is, first is illness, then second is wellness. So self-centered consciousness. So it's very easy to draw. If we remove I from we, then illness turns into wellness. Now, how do we apply that within the gamut of relationships? So we need to get out of the self-centered consciousness. That means we need to stop thinking about aham mameti. Aham mameti means we have to get out of the zone when we always think about ourselves. Ourself means I. What benefit I can draw from a specific relationship, or how this specific thing is for my benefit within this relationship. So people who are self-centered conscious, they will always evaluate all the relationships that they are surrounded with from their own perspective, how I can draw a benefit from it. And whenever they are thinking on this platform of thinking at their own level, so that means there is a problem, and that is termed as illness. People who are just thinking at their own level, even within the set of relationship, that means they are ill people. People who are there in the relationship and those who are thinking on a mutual platform. Okay, I am into a specific relationship with a specific person, I am married to this person, then I do have certain set of responsibilities for this person. Yes, this person also has certain set of responsibilities for me. So it is termed as a joint relationship, when we both are thinking about each other benefit. So then that becomes wellness. So intended outcome is, we simply have to replace the tendency of I to we. This is the action that we need to bring within our own zone of consciousness. Now this learn to get out of self-centered consciousness is not so easy as it is written here. For that, one really need to do a lot of hard work to get out of this zone of self-centered consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, Prakriti kriya manani guna karmani sarvasha. So that means the bewildered soul under the influence of three modes of material nature think himself to be the doer of activities which are in actually carried on by the three modes of material nature. So this is a very interesting slok 3.27, wherein Krishna is telling to Arjuna, now whatever is happening within the nature, you do not think that you are the doer of all the things within this world. So we think I am the doer, we think we are the enjoyer, I am the enjoyer. We forget everyone else when it comes to I. I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. This propensity we basically need to get out of. And to the extent we get out of this propensity that I am not the enjoyer, I am not the doer, it's actually the nature's arrangement. That's what this 3.27 is saying. It's ultimately the entire model is designed in a manner that everything is not in my control. I am not the owner of everything happening within this world, whether it is in connection to me or it is not in connection with me. So we have to get out of this self-centered consciousness. And for that, we also need to understand that we have to start giving some leverage and credit to God, whatever we do within our own day-to-day lifestyle. For that, we need to bring a lot of change within our own level of consciousness by regular hearing. So learn to get out from self-centered consciousness, from illness to wellness. So just need to replace I with we. And once you replace I with we, then you will start observing the change within your own thought process. It will not happen immediately, it will happen over a period of time. But if you will keep on making conscious effort on it, then it will happen. And for that, you also need to invite God in your life, because more you will start connecting everything in relationship with God, then you will understand, okay, this person is there in my life. It is not a game of some like if you go by the presumption of science, then people think, okay, I have some set of people around me, everything is happening by chance. So now there are two sets of people that may come across in our life. One set of people are the people who are disturbing us a lot, who are really creating a lot of trouble. Okay, fine. Let's take an example. There is a mother. Now that mother has a two child. One child is the one who all the time creates devastation in the life of mother. Now there is the second child who is always doing good things and who is always basically assisting mother, or always he has some good qualities, and by which mother is always being getting happiness for his actions. One child, his actions creating a lot of trouble for mother. Another child, his actions giving a lot of happiness or peace to mother. Now the same two different child came from a same mother. One is giving happiness, one is the source of happiness, one is the source of distress. So from a pure scientific perspective, people may think it's just happening out of by chance. But it is not just happening by chance. Everything is in a manner connected to some destiny. There are some principles of destiny going on, because of which we get certain people in our life. And then some people are really giving us some happiness. Some people are really creating trouble in our life. So nothing is just by chance. It's all destined, because everything as we saw shall we reap. So if we would have given some trouble to someone in one lifetime, then that trouble would come in some other form in this lifetime. If we would have created some, if we would have sacrificed something for some individual in some lifetime, then that sacrifice can come in the form of a relationship back onto us, and we can be happy through that relationship. So this is again a very deep science which people do not think, because in society people are not having an option to think. People just work, 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 and work. People don't think consciously that no, we don't have to just work, but we have to think and then work. Think and work. So the concept of thinking is losing its importance. The concept of action, just do action, is picking up day by day. People are not really focused that yes, what you do, you should first think whether it is right to do so or not. So these mentalities of thinking before acting is getting out of the prism of the society. So learn to get out from self-centered consciousness. This is a message for all of us that we should imbibe, and this we can best imbibe by applying some teachings of Bhagavad Gita in our life. And devotees who have been practicing teachings of Bhagavad Gita, they eventually start experiencing it. It's not a theoretical concept, but it is a practical concept which devotees do follow, and then they realize it within their life, how to get out of the self-centered consciousness to selfless consciousness. Okay. Now this is also very interesting. Entire world is one family. So we know this shloka from the very beginning of our school days, as at least as I remember, I had been hearing from the beginning of my life. So it says Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It has been originated from one of the Maha Upanishad, which says that Vasudev is basically used for the earth. It is representing earth, Mother Earth. So the entire word Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So entire word is the entire earth belong Mother Earth, and every individual lives on this one earth. So the word Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the entire word is one family. Now this is again a very big concept which our Vedic scriptures are introducing, that we just do not need, we just always think, okay, we have this family, we are surrounded by 3 members, or we are surrounded by 4 members, we are surrounded by 5 members, and this is our family, and that's it. We don't think beyond that. Now this is the next level of understanding, wherein a devotee who is practicing the path of spirituality, he comes out of the zone of thinking that, okay, I just have to think for my family. I don't have to think anything else. So that mentality in itself is not the right mentality. So devotee, how he thinks that entire world is one family. Okay, it may happen that practically he may not do everything considering the entire world as one family, because he has a specific set of responsibility for 3 or 4 people who are under him, but he may not be in a position to take care of entire world. Okay, fine, we cannot take care of entire world. At least somewhere at our deep back-rooted consciousness, we can carry on with this thought within our consciousness that yes, ultimately we are not just acting for the benefit of ourselves, or we are not just acting for the benefit of our family. Ultimately, nature, people, society, world, everyone is a part of one family. And this Vasudev, in fact, Vasudev, even we use this Vasudev for Krishna also, for God also. So there, because he is also, he is the ultimate owner of the earth. Earth is not just independent. Earth is also being under the guidance or the care or the control of the Lord. Or in our Bhagavad Gita, it is said as Bhumi Rapanalo Vayukha Manor Buddhir Evacha Ahankar Ityama Bhinna Prakati Rastada. So when Krishna is saying These are different energies of mind. Five energies, five main elements: Prithvi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, and Akash. Earth, earth, fire, water, air, and ether. So entire world is one family. It is originated from Maha Upanishad, engraved at the entrance of Parliament of India. Interestingly, we know that on the Parliament, if you look at the Parliament, it is engraved there that Vasudeva Kutumbakam. But unfortunately, we see people just keep on fighting in Parliament. So this is the irony of our society that we live in. Most of the people are doing things only for the sake of doing. They don't really live with those things. But Bhagavad Gita is a book which is helping us to realize that we just do not have to do things for the sake of doing, but we have to live with those things within our life. And when we start living with those those approach, or we start living with those ideas or with that concepts, then we can actually understand ki yes, this is what the life is. This is the precious life that I have got. This is so valuable human form of life that I have got by the arrangement of God, by the arrangement of my destiny. Let me use it for a right cause. Let me give back something to the society. Let me learn something and then give back something to the society. So entire world is one family. And that is why Krishna consciousness is not confined to any specific set of religion. Krishna consciousness is not specific to any specific set of people. It is not specific to any specific country. That is why we see within Krishna consciousness devotees from all over the world, different parts of the world, take part in these activities of Krishna consciousness. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. For Srila Prabhupada, we say he made a family in which entire world can live. That's what Srila Prabhupada thinks about this entire world. So entire world is one family. Let's move on further. Okay, this is also very, very interesting. I liked it very much, and it is also giving a very practical perspective of how we can influence by our positive vibrations to the society or the people who are living with the negative thought process, negative vibrations. So there is a concept called as form two relationships. Form two relationships. Form two relationships means one relationship is okay, fine. We are there as an individual human being. Apart from we as an individual human being, we have a God who is sitting within us. We all know that God is sitting within our heart as Paramatma. So we need to form a relationship with God as well. We cannot just live independent relationship with people within this world. We cannot just have independent set of relationship with people within this world. To the extent we carry on we carry on with this mentality. Okay, we will live with people based on the different relationships that we have, and if we will not cultivate the relationship of God within our own set of lifestyle, then we will not be able to live happy and peacefully with other people within this world with whom we are destined to have different set of relationship. So first is we have to form a relationship with God as well. We cannot just be dependent on forming relationship with people in this world. So what is the outcome if you form a relationship with God? So first is, it is saying lower vibrations will get dissolved. So now when we start to read about the psychology of the mind, then there are different vibrations or different set of moods that people usually come across, or different kind of nature, different kind of behavior pattern that we form within our own mind. So one is, okay, we have negative vibrations or negative behavior, and another is a positive behavior. Now, when we are developing our relationship with God, what will happen? God is the one who is always carrying an attitude of positive relationship when he is dealing with his devotees. So he is always full of positive behavior. He is there to just help us to, to inculcate those positive feelings within us or positive vibrations within us. So what happens? Okay, we have both sets. One is the negative, another is the positive. If we talk about we as an individual, by our own nature, we carry both. Now, when we come in contact with God, because God has a positive nature, He is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So, when we come in contact with God, then whatever lower vibrations we have or the negative vibrations we have, those negative vibrations starts getting dissolving, and the vibrations or our relationship with God starts dominating. When the relationship with God starts dominating, then there is an intended outcome. The intended outcome is we carry more positivity within us. We we have aligned our relationship with God. Once we have aligned our relationship with God, then the result would be that God will make us more and more stronger in terms of our own behavior, in terms of our own nature as an individual. When we will become more and more positive, then whenever we will come in contact with people who apparently looks us कि they are negative people, or they are people who are always disturbed, who do not know how to deal within relationships, then we will have a power to bring a change in their life. Even if we are not in a position to bring a change in their life, at least the result will be that we will not get influenced by their negativity. This is guaranteed because you have changed your own individual thought process, you have changed your own nature, you have changed your own behavior by forming your own strong relationship with God. Because God only helps those who really wants to be helped. So when we have taken shelter of God, who is full of all positivity and who is simply pouring that seed of positivity within our heart, if we take a shelter of God, then that positivity will bring positivity in our surroundings. Even if it will not bring a positivity in our surroundings, at least we will not get influenced by the negative set of people with whom we have to live, because we have to live. So we will know how to deal with them. We will not get disturbed from their negative mindsets, negative thought process, or whatever they carry within their own mind in terms of negativity. So that's why there is a concept that I just, I was just trying to contemplate. This forming two relationships is very, very important. Okay, one is you are there. In any case, you have relationship with people within this world. In any case, those relationships will be there. It will continue. And another is work on forming a relationship with God within you. Then that positivity will start sprouting within you, and that positivity, once it will start sprouting within you, then it will start sprouting outside from you. So for that, you need to work hard on yourself in terms of forming your own relationship with God. Now, most of the people in society, unfortunately, do not know this concept of forming two relationships. What is the need of it? How it can help? Once you form a positive two relationship, means once you form a relationship with God, the way it will help in terms of even if you're dealing with people within this world, people of this society who are there just to exploit you, even while dealing with those set of people, this concept of forming two relationship will help. Because we see in society most of the people are dealing with us for their own selfish desires or for their own selfish needs. So we can take care of that piece also once we start forming relationship with God. And you can see in this picture, uh, in fact, when Lord Krishna and Balram was there, so they were not projecting themselves that okay, we are God. They were simply playing like ordinary cowherd boys with their friends in Vrindavan. And once you start forming that relationship with God, God is not looking forward to have a relationship with you because He is God. He doesn't want to have that relationship ultimately. He wants to have a relationship because He loves you. And that is why He has given us this this knowledge. And that knowledge can give us the opportunity to dive into this concept of building these two relationships. And then we'll start seeing the word from the eyes of God. That's what I was teaching in Bhagavad Gita, that ultimately we have to learn the art of seeing the word from the eyes of God. And then we will eventually see that, okay, negativity is there, positivity is there, but ultimately we'll start forming positivity. We'll start seeing everything with a positive attitude. Okay, now we are talking about nature of relationships in this world. Now you can see this quote on the left side. I like this quote very much, and I like this example very much. So as the different logs of wood come together on a wide sea ocean, and having drifted for a while depart, so also when woman, father, mother, brother, sister come together for a while and then depart. So it is giving a very interesting lesson to us. And the example that, so if you look at this picture is giving us a very interesting example of different logs of wood on the ocean, on the seashore of the ocean. So when they are together in the sea, so some logs of wood they come from the sea on the corner of the sea. They go back, and some remains there, some goes into the sea. So this coming back and going, it's like a relationship in this world. We get certain relationship based on our destiny. We get father, we get mother, we get our other family members. We are there for such for a period of time, then we get separated. Then again we form some relationships, then we get separated. The cycle keeps on revolving. So this is the nature of the relationships in this world. It's an analogy that I have used here to help you to understand how the logs of wood they come together, then they get separated, then again they come together, then they get separated. This is, we also have the same set of relationships with people in this world. So what is the intended outcome? What we are really looking forward to? The intended outcome is that we all need to aspire in life for permanent relationships. We need to work on permanent relationships till the time we are present and after we leave this world. So the only permanent relationship that we can establish is that we can form our relationship with God. So for that, again, we need to work hard. We need to know who God is. We need to understand how we can form our relationship with God, and then what is the intended outcome, how that relationship is really permanent relationship. All these things we need to know. And once we understand that yes, we are in a certain body, this body has certain relationships, those relationships are to be taken care as a part of our duty within this world. We cannot start ignoring, okay, fine, all these things are temporary, let's simply start ignoring them. It doesn't work like that. You cannot start ignoring them. You have to carry them along as your duty. You have certain responsibility that you have taken yourself. You have to get along with those. You have to carry your relationship with, you have to keep your relationship along and perform your duties and responsibilities, but don't get yourself just hooked up within those relationships of this world. You have to understand the fact that you have a relationship with God as well. And ultimately, this body that we have received, this body is meant to help us to form or build that relationship with God. So we have to use this body wisely. We have to be intelligent enough. Okay, we have to deal with people of this world. We have to deal with relationships within this world. We have to take care of all the relationships which we are destined, which we have been destined by the nature. We have to take care of them, but we also have to take care of our own individual relationship that we all have with God. Okay, next, conclusion. Okay, before that, okay, let me quickly tell you this conclusion, then we'll have further discussions. I just quickly want to wrap up. So now Krishna is telling how we can have strong relationship and how we can see God behind everything. This is many of the people know, and but when it comes to practicing it in their life, it is not so easy for people to practice it. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Sarvasya chaham hriday sannivisto matta smriti jnanam pohanam cha vedascha sarvem ahameva vedyo vedant krit veda vid eva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart. So here God is introducing a concept that ultimately whosoever is there in your life, be it a good relationship, be it a bad relationship, behind all these relationships, I am sitting on the back. So you cannot all the time keep on blaming that individual. You have to try to see that, okay, fine, this person is there, probably he doesn't have good qualities, and within this person there is a God sitting behind. I have to see that yes, God is sitting within this person. This is first rule. Then second rule is that the negativity also can teach you a lesson in your life. If unless and until you are not surrounded by, unless and until you are not surrounded with people who are probably not very good in their behavior or in their character or in terms of dealing with people, you can learn a lot from those people as well. People who are wise, they will learn lesson from those people also. They will understand, okay, this person doesn't have good qualities. Let me be careful that, okay, I should not cultivate these bad qualities in myself. So this is a lesson for me that I should follow myself as an individual. So this is how a devotee looks at every situation, be it a good situation or a bad situation, or a person with a good quality or a person with a bad quality. So I'm seated in everyone's heart. He knows, okay, this person also has a God as a representative. When we say namaste to everyone or to any person within this world, so the concept that a devotee carries, okay, we are respecting that person, and in addition, we are also respecting the Paramatma sitting within that individual person's heart. Because here God is confirming, I am seated in everyone's heart. So we are not just looking at the person, but we are looking at what is there behind the personality. And this is called as your vision, which we have to develop, over a period of time. The more our vision is wider, the better we can see the world, the entire world around us. This is called as Shastra Chakshu. We need to have that eyes of our Vedic knowledge. Through the eyes of Vedic knowledge, we can actually see the world in a proper perspective. Otherwise, we see, still we are not seeing the reality. Pashya, we are seeing, still we are not seeing. But if we are trying to see the things from the knowledge of our scriptures, then we see everything on the platform of reality. All right, with this note, I would like to summarize what I discussed today. So, first, I talked about the concept. I initially started with the story of that old mother-in-law and that lady who got recently married. And in India, we do see a lot of fights happening between mother-in-law and and mother, whatever. Yeah. So this fights happening a lot. So we can definitely get some lessons through that story. We can try to implement to some extent, definitely not to all extent, but to some extent. Then we talked about how relationship can be compared with the ship. Then when I talked about two different aspects, one is the external forces by which we, based on which we built some specific opinion about an individual, and our own internal thought process on the basis of which we keep on just building some opinion about a person. So we need to be careful where we have to really focus. Okay. This we did. Then I talked about this learning to get out from self-centered consciousness, replacing I with we. So illness turns into wellness if we replace I to we. And for that, we discussed that we don't have to think ourselves to be the doer. We don't have to think ourselves to be the controller. We don't have to think ourselves to be the enjoyer of any relationship that we come across within this world. So this is specifically from a relationship perspective. Don't think that okay, I am into this relationship. I am meant to enjoy this relationship for my own benefit, for my own self purpose. We have to get out of that mentality. Yes, and then we talked about the nature or the consciousness ultimately that we have to build within ourselves as an individual. That entire world is a family. We may not be in a position to implement it in terms of our actions when we are doing things for the entire world. We cannot do that. We may not be having that capacity, but at least at the level of our consciousness, we should keep this within our heart. Yes, this is how we look the entire world as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Then we talked about forming two relationships. Two relationships means one is a relationship with God. We all have, we keep on building up as we grow up within our own lives. And another is forming a relationship with God. And what will be the impact? We'll be in a position to dominate via positivity or our behavior that we will develop by forming a relationship with God, and we'll spread positivity in the society at large. We talked about the nature of relationships within this world. It has certain limitations. We do take care of these relationships to the extent we have a duty and responsibility for those relationships, but we do not just simply carried away by those set of relationships only, as most of the people are in today's world, unfortunately, because they forget the very basic concept of life, that the life we have received is for the purpose of ultimately forming a relationship with God. Conclusion: Sarvasya Chaham Hriday Sanni Visto. Try to see God in everyone's heart. So then you will see, okay, if this person is born with some negative qualities, no problem. He is there to teach me some lessons. Let me learn from him. He's acting as my teacher. So people who are wise, they can learn from good people. Definitely, they can learn from bad people, they can learn from any set of people within this world. This is how we should live. We can learn from anyone and everyone if we really want to learn. And we can learn from relationships also. And one last fundamental rule, which you all should remember in life: you cannot change the world. Similarly, you cannot change people around you. You cannot change that. The only thing within your own capacity to change is your own self as an individual. In order to bring that change as individual within you, you have to basically, you have to how do I call, you have to basically take take help of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, that will help you in changing your own personality. And when you will be empowered by that knowledge and its implementation within your own life, then you will have that capacity, you will have that power within you by the grace of God, by which you can possibly bring some change in social system. So with this note, I would be concluding my session.